Oh shit, what's up, dude? You are listening to SwampTalk, brought to you by Brattlebrook Studio. Here's your hosts, Sean Miller and Corey Bush. Help me.
Well, I know all about piss jocks.
So when the police come because somebody called the cops on you because you've been in the neighborhood for like 7 hours, they roll down your window, sir. What the fuck? Yeah. I'm sorry, that's my piss.
I'm an island boy.
How you doing, officer?
I'm an island boy. I'm a
Welcome to episode 52 of Swamp Talk.
Episode 52, 2 years in the making.
Yeah.
And we're still on vacation because it's the holidays.
Yep.
And we're playing this island music.
Before we jump into it, we got a new website.
Yep.
Bought a domain, www.swamptalkpodcast.com. You can go
It's
in there,
legit.
watch all our videos or listen to all our episodes, all our podcast links, everything.
Yeah, YouTube,
Join
Twitch.
our join our email list.
Yeah.
Whenever we need a friend, we'll just email you.
Yep. Or, we'll spam your email with a whole bunch of pointless shit. You'll get pissed off, unsubscribe, and that's how it goes.
Yep. That's how it goes.
And also, we got a guest.
Yep. His name is Joey.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, thank you, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an honor to be right here at Swamp Talk. I mean, we have a lot of shows on the CTS-Sports Room, but nothing as good as this one. I came on, I said, fellas, any rules, anything I need to know? And they looked at the Alabama hat and they were like, just don't say the N-word. Damn, y'all. I mean, come on. I'm like, come on. We have evolved since 1950s, dude. Come on. And they were like, no, I don't want to hear that shit. You stick your race, Trump loving ass and put yourself in line. I'm like, okay, fuck it. I'm sorry.
No excuses, damn it.
No excuses, damn it. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. We are honored to have you on our podcast.
Is this a deja vu?
Yeah, it's like a deja vu almost. I feel like we've done this once before.
Y'all want to tell everybody what happened?
Yeah, so we did do this once before. This is actually part 2.
Yeah.
Because we fucked up. Our shit sucks. He saved the day, thankfully.
I'm going to have to remember this.
Yeah,
website.
we definitely have to do this.
Because it also gives you your internet strength up in the corner, too.
Yeah, and we're going
to
have to just go to my house from now on. Fuck that internet strength. Anyways, tell us a little bit about yourself, Joey.
Well, if you see this on YouTube, I don't know if you will. You see this on any of the social media accounts. You see CTS-Sports Room on Twitter. He probably won't put my ugly mug on their social media because they have standards. But with that said,
have you seen our faces?
y'all some clowns, man. The CTS Sports Room. We are a sports channel, but we used to be called the CTS Interview Room. We have interviewed everybody from Bill Engvall. Since this is technically a wrestling podcast, we have interviewed people like Ricky Morton, Nikita Koloff. That was a big honor. Eric Bischoff, Mickey James, and then of course we mostly Alabama football legends. Because we love college football down here in the South. Jeremiah Castile, who's known for the fumble in the NFL. Reenie Curry for University of Georgia. Chris Dorian from Florida. You know him from SEC Network. Tim Brando from Fox Sports. A lot of ESPN reporters. Of course, we're brought to you with the one and only Clemson Tom, the Mississippi State superfan, now the SEC superfan. We got Clemson Tom, who's the ultimate Clemson football fan. Both internet sensations. We have the lovely Jacqueline Phillips, Rafael Lozada, Joe Clacker, Joe Will, and Tyler, I don't know what's his name, and my main man, One More Sanchez, who covers all boxing. So we got a full house and
full team.
You know, full team. And
yeah.
you know what we're doing? We're just doing what we're trying to get up to that SwampTalk level, so we can get fans and people to love us as much as we love you.
Oh, I'm sure
that's
won't
what
be.
We're doing.
I'm sure it won't be as much of a battle as it was for us. You guys actually have like some celebrities on there. You got fucking athletes on there. Hell yeah, dude! Check out.
We just sent them
CTS Sports.
We sent them new pictures of Clemson Tom. So that's what happened, and they were like, "Oh, if you send one more picture." I'm like, you coming on the show, ain't you? Okay, fine. Just stop sending the damn pictures. No, Clemson
send
Tom
them
likes
to my
to
email.
So what's going on, fellas? What are we doing tonight?
Well,
We're going to talk some shit.
yeah, we're gonna talk a whole bunch of shit, but you know, we spoke a little bit about it before, but you mentioned Eric Bischoff, and I have to talk a little bit about him. That guy can sell a stunner. Not like Vince McMahon.
Yes.
Vince McMahon, like he gets stunned by Stone Cold, and you literally are worried for his health. Like you're like, oh my god, did we just lose the owner of WWE, like or WWF at the time?
Did y'all? I'm sure y'all seen it. Did y'all ever see the first time he ever got stunned?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was cringe.
I don't even know how you can sell it that way.
I don't know, but like that's literally what I'm talking about. And like he hasn't improved throughout like the years. I mean, Stone Cold had a kind of short career.
No, Stone Cold had a very long career.
No, Stone Cold's persona.
To like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Well, you know, compared to Hulk Hogan, who's been wrestling since the 70s, but you know, Stone Cold started back in
80s,
89, 87, 88, 89, somewhere around there.
Yeah, he was
so people think
stunning.
Stone Cold.
Stunning
Yeah, a lot of
Steve
people-
Austin. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people think Stone Cold was just wrestling from 96 to 2003.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Nope.
son, you don't know wrestling.
Yeah, he was in the ECW a little bit too. Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, like for like a minute for a cup of coffee.
Yeah,
But,
literally brief.
I got to apologize. You know, you guys are in the wrestling business.
Yes.
And I'm not in the wrestling business. So unlike some of these 40-year-old virgins that sit in their mom's basement and talk about professional wrestling, and like they are inside the business talking about work rate and kayfabe and all that stuff. I'm one of those people that still watch it for what it is, what it's portrayed to be, like a sport.
Yeah.
So I'm actually watching for wrestling matches.
You're watching.
I know that sounds funny. I know it's funny to most people, but I'm not watching work rate.
Yeah.
You know, I care about who wins and lose. So,
Yeah.
and a lot of fans, like I'll talk wrestling with some fans. It's hard for me to talk wrestling with a lot of wrestling fans because they'll just look at me like, oh man, Shawn Michaels' work rate was I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, dude, my point is this, like, dude, it matters. Like, let's talk about John Cena whooping that ass. Man, you know what, dude, you're such a mark. And I'm like looking at him, well, you're a Frank. So, you know, what the fuck? I don't know what the. So, you know, forgive me that I watch it for what it's portrayed to be. So if I start talking like it's a sport or something, you just got to forgive me. That's the way I am.
No, that's great. I mean, I love the fact that there's so many different genres of fans for wrestling. Like you got the marks as you would classify yourself. I don't classify you as a mark. A mark in our book is like somebody who hounds people and is just like asking them questions left and right.
Work.
Yeah, like fucking so into the story and asking like what's gonna happen. It's like you do know like we don't ruin it. Obviously, like we tell them what we can, but you know. We also have to be like, yo, like, calm down. You're going to ruin it for yourself. Like, wait until next show, you know? Like, yeah, those are the people that we would classify as a mark. I would classify as a wrestling fan, like, for the love of the sport. Not like so much the story, but you love the wrestling aspect. You love seeing the physical ability of each wrestler. Like, that's actually, like, what I'm more into. If we're getting down to the nitty gritty of it, like I don't care about stories anymore. Like if anything, stories have turned into fucking soap operas, and it's just pointless. Like I watched.
Oh, yeah, and
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, and my wife gets on to me because, ever since the WWE Network came on in 2014.
Yeah.
Of course, by that time, I was still watching wrestling on a regular basis. Yeah, but now these days, you'll see me just watch. I got the New Japan Pro Wrestling app, which is garbage. I mean, the library is good, but the app sucks.
Yeah,
and
I would imagine.
And then the Impact Wrestling app, which is garbage, but the stuff on there is cool. Yeah. So my wife gets on to me like today. I was watching like in 1996. I was watching zero WWE. I was watching no WWE.
Yeah,
because there was nobody on. I mean, my man Bret Hart wasn't wrestling.
Yep,
because I was a big Bret Hart fan and. I didn't give a fuck about Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
I maybe turn it on every once in a while to see what the Ultimate Warrior or Undertaker was doing. But then when the Ultimate Warrior left, it was like, fuck it. I don't care.
Yeah.
So I was watching WCW. 25 years later, I'm sitting there like, I'm going to go back in time and watch, So I made it all the way through Survivor Series.
Nice.
So I'm watching that.
Yep.
Which you know what happens because you're a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
But so I'm watching Raw, and the funniest thing is, and because I grew up in Phoenix City, Alabama, so I was right across the border of Columbus, Georgia. So all the WCW matches will come to the Municipal Auditorium.
Yep.
And so I've been to wrestling tapings before where they tape 4 or 5 weeks of wrestling. But it's so cool to sit there and watch like 4 weeks of Monday Night Raw with the same audience.
I never noticed that.
Yeah, I never noticed that. That's funny.
Like go to these like after Survivor Series. Right, that's where I'm at right now. Right after Survivor, I'm on like December 9th of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah,
and just the same audience right after Survivor Series, and there's the same people in the front row, and I'm like, that kind of kills it a little bit.
Yeah,
I know you don't notice it.
Yeah,
when you was watching it, but
I've always heard of it. Like I always heard like they were doing like they would do if they were doing a pay-per-view, they would do the pay-per-view Sunday Night Heat at the time, and then they would also do Monday Night, all in the same fucking day. And it's just like, how do you do all that? Like
because it saves money. If you look at it,
that's true.
Wrestling's been doing that for years. Yep. I mean,
I remember going to
I remember the last event at the Municipal Auditorium. The last event at the Municipal Auditorium was a recording of WCW Power Hour.
Yep. And
DDP came out with 4 weeks of arm wrestling competitions. He was like, and so the guy in the ring was like, I think it was Mean Gene actually. The guy in the ring was like, so DDP, last week, you beat such and such, and now you got to face, and like last week was just 5 minutes ago. So DDP would literally go backstage, wait about 10 minutes, her match would be over, and he'd come out. And like last week.
Oh man, yeah, that's hard. Like you gotta give him props for the acting skill.
And my dad, and what kills you that the main event of every house show or every recording was always the match you wanted to see.
Yeah. They did it on purpose.
Dad was the type. My dad was the type of person we got to beat traffic. So we always like my dad would let me see the wrestlers like Sting come in the ring or something. The guys that wasn't on TV was and my dad would let me see them come out and then boop. Yep. All right, you can watch the rest of them on TV. Let's go.
That's such a fucking cock tease. Like Jesus, I would be so upset.
I'm the opposite. I wait until after the traffic is gone.
Well, when you're like 12 or 11, you're not gonna sit there and argue with because my dad was mean. My dad, it was nothing for my dad to smack the shit out of you. So my dad said, "Let's go." He wasn't gonna do a working punch. I'm like, damn, it's ass whooping time.
Yep.
So, one question. I don't mean to talk your ear off, but who was y'all's guy? Who to me, Hulk Hogan was the man. It was, I would say, like as a sort of a sports historian or wrestling historian, which I'm not qualified to call myself, but I like to. To me, Frank Gotch Luthez, Hulk Hogan, and then the last two either between Ed Strangle Lewis, Ric Flair, Andre the Giant, what was that? Gorgeous George. Who would you put in those last two? If you was me, now you can give me your four top five if you want to, but who would you put in those last two? Because I can never figure out the last. I know Luthez, Frank Gotch, and Hulk Hogan is on the list. That's top five in everybody's category. At least it should be.
Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan's in mine right off rip, just because they're just so inspirational. Like they've done so much for all of wrestling. You got to put Frank Gotch and Luthez in there. I mean, you have to. Frank Gotch was the. People say Hulk Hogan is the Babe Ruth of wrestling, but actually Frank Gotch was the first. There's so many great wrestlers. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I probably should do a little bit more research and fucking look at all the actual wrestlers that were around that time and like do more research in that. But like, I didn't know at the time. I was young, so I just focused on like mainstream. So when I was hearing Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, I was watching them, and then I would do a little research and like. At the time, like in the 90s, you could only fucking do so much with AOL, so you couldn't really watch their old matches.
You can download Sonny, man. Sonny was the shit with AOL. So who's your guys' top five?
All right. My top five will definitely... can I consider all of DX just one?
You can do whatever you want. It's your top five, man.
All right, so right off rip, just because 90s was my era, that's when I grew up, it's going to be Stone Cold, The Rock, all of DX for my third, Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair. And that order isn't like my favorite. That's just my top five. They're all like equal in that top five. They're like... It's just how I remember him. Stone Cold's my favorite out of all of it. Like just his attitude changed everything in wrestling. Like it was something that you never seen before. Like somebody so like against authority in wrestling. It was a nice relief almost. But
nothing like the NWO that started 2 years prior.
Yeah, well, them too. It's just too much to like. I can't just stop at a top five. But that's my main like thing is.
Well, that's what I put. There's the top five, and then there's the top five. Like my favorites are a little different. Like I didn't watch no Frank Gotch matches. I just know the history of Frank Gotch, and I know he was. But what about you, my man? What was your top five?
Well, my number one favorite is Mick Foley.
Yeah, he loves Mick Foley.
Inside and outside of the ring. I met him once, but that was enough to know that this dude is fucking awesome. And then the rest, no particular order, but Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair.
You named three.
I know.
You got two more.
Yeah. Oh, wait, did I say Chris Jericho?
Nope. He's Jericho? Another good one.
Yeah,
like
he's still going. You can't.
Yeah, he's.
You
a
can't
legend.
leave out
at this point. He's a fucking legend.
He's still going. I can't believe it. And,
he's only gotten better.
Triple H
with age. Oh, Triple H. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are my top.
It's unfortunate.
Obviously, Stone Cold and The Rock.
Yeah. It's just too much to mention.
Top five.
Like there's like. Because, like, growing up in the 90s...
Jericho, Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels, Ric
all
Flair.
Those people that he's saying, like, in the 90s, that's who we grew up with. So, like, the 80s was just irrelevant until we took it upon ourselves to do research and, like, figure out what was going on in the 80s. And you're like, oh, shit, Hulk Hogan had a whole fucking thing. Like, damn, they used him a lot more in the 80s, obviously. But as kids, you don't fucking grasp that.
Well, see, y'all grew up during the WCW Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So
NWO,
it's a little different for
all
me.
That, yep.
Yeah. That's why I get on the Stingray. Stingray's talking about how Hulk Hogan sucks. I'm sitting there like,
when you saw him, maybe.
Yeah, you didn't. You saw Hollywood Hogan when you didn't see, people say Hulk Hogan can. Okay, I'm gonna talk like you guys, and please forgive me because I'm not in the wrestling business. But let's pretend like I know the secret. Okay,
he's actually trained. We trained him, so he does know the business.
People like to say, I got on Eric Bischoff about this. It's on video. Like, people like to say Hulk Hogan cannot work and Hulk Hogan can't wrestle. I'm like, well, buy the New Japan Pro Wrestling app and watch Hulk Hogan in the ring.
Yeah, you got to watch him outside of that shit, like WCW and WWE.
Yeah. And you got to also keep in mind, during Hulk Hogan's era in the 70s and 80s, when he first started, a clothesline.
That was
people don't understand
brutal back then. I was talking to him about this earlier. Like, it's great. Like, he does a bulldog from the corner. Because I watched Scott Hall, his debut on TV. He won a match with a bulldog from a corner. And I was like, yo, do that in your moveset, and it doesn't even fucking win a match anymore. I was like, what the fuck happened?
That was Dustin Rhodes' finishing move for a very long time.
Yeah.
Before he was Goldust.
Yep. Yeah.
And people don't understand, like, you go back to, like, Vern Gagne, his finishing move was the drop kick.
Yep.
Hulk Hogan's finishing move in Japan was the clothesline.
And he would hulk up every now and then, and fucking the clothesline didn't work.
The leg drop was like his one of his moves in the wrestling ring in Japan. But I mean, Hogan could wrestle, and Hogan was a very, very good wrestler. It's just that money got to him. I don't know Mr. Hogan. I'm just saying, I think some wrestlers, got that money in the 70s and 80s and 90s, got that money and was like, hey, you know what?
Well, money and drugs.
It's like, hey, you know what? We got his money. We got their money now. We can just chill out.
Another thing is, like, the shitty part about wrestling is what me and him are doing now in wrestling. 5 or 10 years from now, it's going to be considered boring like it was for them. It's just wrestling just evolves to the point where you need to do like 30 fucking super kicks or 30 fucking leg drops per match, or you have to give your finisher like 5 fucking times before you win it. Like, it's just shitty that wrestling has come to that point so quickly. Like,
well,
it's crazy.
My opinion on that is, no, you don't.
I know you don't, but it's just
because
you watch AEW or WWE now, and they fucking
and that's the reason why I'm not watching.
Exactly, same.
Because I'm sitting there, like I told you, I'm watching '96.
Yep.
And I like to go back and watch Hogan matches and Bret the Hitman Hart matches, and I'll get to one thing in a minute. Speaking of Bret Hart and Hulk Hogan, I'm sitting there watching. I was watching Bret Hart and Owen Hart on Monday Night Raw in '96, and they was just doing a match on Raw.
That was like a year before Owen Hart died, I believe.
96.
No, he died in '99. But
did he? Oh shit! It was. I thought it was '97 this whole time. God damn.
No, it was '99.
Yeah, whenever he did the Blue Blazer.
Yeah. This was pre-Attitude Era.
Okay.
They were still, the Goon and everybody. It was just about to hit the
Attitude.
97 when everything started getting crazy.
Yeah. They changed the ropes and everything got crazy.
Yeah, when everybody started cussing and Bret Hart, kind of when the Attitude Era first started. But I was watching it, and my little girl was sitting there like, "Daddy, you watching wrestling again?" I was like, "I'm not asking you to watch it with me. Go somewhere before I put you up for adoption." And anyway, so I was watching it, and I'm sitting there like, God, damn, this is real wrestling. Like, they're working hose, and they're not like trying to do super flips off the top rope, and all that. They're like the wrestling. And my little girl was like, when they gonna do flips and stuff? And I'm like, well,
that's the problem.
When you gonna find your real daddy? Go somewhere.
It's evolved to the point where they want to impress the crowd no matter what it takes. So if they're doing like these finishers and things that should end the match, and it's not getting a reaction from the crowd, they'll just keep it going. And it's like, don't do that. Like, you're feeding into it. Like, it needs to go back to the nitty gritty, fucking bare bones. Like, you beat the living shit out of each other, and fucking whoever wins that shit. Like, the tougher guy. Like, that's how wrestling was. Whoever the tougher guy was in that match, whoever deserved it, fucking won.
Yeah, and my philosophy in professional wrestling, if you wouldn't do that in a fight or a competitive match, don't do it.
Yeah, hang on. Let me do this. Let me climb up on this thing and do a fucking flip onto you real quick.
Yeah, please. But I give away the suplexes and the German because it's part of wrestling.
Yeah,
in the running the ropes, that's part of wrestling. Okay, we'll let that go because we grew up watching it since the 40s and the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
But when you're sitting there, just all this, it's gotten to the point where the last pay-per-view I bought of AEW, the first match was Chris Jericho and I think it was MJF. I believe
MJF,
and the versus the Young Bucks.
Yeah,
it was the one with the exploding ring incident.
Yeah, that one.
That was the last pay per view that I bought with AEW, and I haven't watched AEW since.
See,
I know CM Punk and Daniel Bryan is on.
Yeah, they're back.
Yeah, I know. I
it's not
understand
enough though.
I'm busy.
I love Daniel Bryanson or whatever his name is now. He's cool
I'm
when
busy and I don't got time.
Yeah. Exactly. He's cool when he's not in WWE because he's got his creative freedom, and same with the rest of them. But
isn't that funny when they go away from WWE to become cool, like Christian Cage? Like Christian Cage, when he went to TNA, I became a fan, and then before that, like I would fast forward his matches.
Yeah, I didn't watch Christian and Edge back in the day, but.
Yeah, when Christian was in his singles, like 2002 to 2005,
no, I couldn't.
I would literally walk out the room and watch something like.
It's like when Devon went on his own. Yeah, became a fucking reverend.
Oh,
Reverend Dion.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Every wrestling fan's got certain matches that will just okay, this is on. I'm gonna go use the bathroom or something. Christian was that guy.
Yeah,
but then when he went to TNA, it was like. This guy's cool as fuck.
He got his creative freedom. He was free to do what he wanted as a personality, which I love. But I just wish it didn't take him so long because now, he's always looked old. He pointed it out.
He's always looked old.
And I went back and I started watching some of his older matches. I'm like, yeah, he just looked old with long hair. But speaking about MJF, I might get some heat for this, but when I watch MJF, I see a young Chris Jericho. Like, the way that he can get the crowd against him so quickly, that is a heel. If I've ever seen a heel in modern day, MJF is the fucking heel for modern day wrestling. He's got
it's just I've reached that age now where I've already seen all this shit before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen the work shoot shit.
Yep.
That so many damn times. I see it on YouTube. I say I don't watch you're right, I don't watch the show. I just catch shit on YouTube.
Highlights and stuff.
And,
same.
Yeah. And I remember him and CM Punk was in the ring and he was talking real shit.
Yeah, real shit. That's what MJ they all do now.
Yeah, if you this really happened in their life.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there yeah, I've seen this shit before.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know to the younger fans, and I got to realize at 40 years old that
you're going to see everything at that point.
Yeah, WWE and AEW, they're not catering to what I like. I'm
younger. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm past my fan prime. They want the young kids who buy the toys and the video games.
I think that's what the whole thing is with wrestling now. They're just, it's cool to see, and that's how I got back into wrestling, because I wasn't watching for a good decade, maybe a decade and a half. I just stopped.
Damn, I never went that long.
I just stopped completely. When I started watching WWE and I saw what happened after Stone Cold and everybody left, I was like, this is fucked. So like when AEW came out, I was like, oh, I'm gonna give them a shot. And like you said, we only watch their pay-per-views. Granted, it's my fucking work schedule and shit. I'd probably catch it a little bit more, just because I rather watch AEW than where WWE has ended up now. Just because AEW kind of gives me a WCW feel. Like, if WCW lasted through the years, this is where they would be now.
They skipped 2000, 2001.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit.
Yeah, just ignore that whole era where they're like, yeah, we're failing as a company.
But you talk about doing out wrestling. That's like for a decade. That's like saying going out sex.
It was rough. Like I became a
damn.
wrestler before I got back into watching wrestling. That's
can't
the
watch it
crazy
anymore.
part about it. Like I became a professional wrestler just because growing up it was always a dream of mine. And when I got the opportunity, I was like, oh fuck yeah! Like I love the art of wrestling. So like. I'm willing to learn it. And then like just watching the shows that would come around locally, I was like, oh dude, this is fucking awesome. Like it's real. It feels real again. Like, you know, it was like the first time watching WWF back in the day, or WCW or ECW, like CWA, like all the great fucking companies. Like it just felt real. Like, and that's what's missing today.
Don't you love those fans that watch what you do and say, yeah, I can do that.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, I every time I see that shit, I'm like, that's man's work. I don't want, oh, fuck, hell no. Like, just imagine, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this podcast, just imagine you just fall on your floor one time. Just fall on your floor. I don't care.
Whole
it's carpet. Well, just fall. And I'm talking about just fall.
Yep.
And if you know how to fall, even if you know how to fall like professional wrestlers with your hands out and take a bump, even
tuck
if you know
your
how,
neck.
just do it. Yeah. Do it one time.
Yep.
And just tell me in the comment section, does it hurt?
Yeah.
Does it hurt? And then try to do that for 10 to 15 minutes straight.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is actually funny because I never thought of it that way. It is. It sounds brutal when you put it that way. Like
it is brutal, man. You know what you're doing to your body. I mean, and then there's cats that do that.
The ring.
Your biggest fan is Mick Foley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do the shit that he does. I took some of his moves, but I don't do the shit
Mick
that he
Foley's
does.
Nuts. Every time I saw him pull a fucking sack out of the underneath the ring, I'm like, here comes the fucking tax.
Look at it this way. Let's take my man Hulk Hogan. Look at my man Hulk Hogan. Look how he's walking now.
Yeah.
He's never done. He's probably
Look
taken
at
one
all
power
of them.
bomb in
Ric
his whole
Flair.
life.
Ric Flair's granted, Ric Flair wrestled till he was like 60 something. Fucking. That's definitely not the move. You want to retire like in your 40s.
Yeah, but you see Hulk Hogan, he's got 20 new hips. I mean, he's the bionic man, and he's never done anything. He's probably took a power bomb maybe twice in his whole career.
Exactly.
And I'm stating the point is that people who sit there and think that you can do what professional wrestlers can do, I mean, it hurts.
It does.
Just the boringest match you ever seen in your entire life.
Hurts.
That shit hurt.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so when you say, man, that match is boring, I mean, get thrown out the ring one time.
Yeah.
Just one time.
Yep.
It hurts. That's man's work. I don't want none part. I'll watch you.
It does. It sucks. I mean,
I think I saw an interview
my
where
wife.
Hulk Hogan said that he wishes he picked a different signature move because all he did was leg drops. So he had
a
shit ton of lower back.
Same with
surgery.
stunners. Stunners, leg drops and stunners are the thing you want to avoid the most, and that was like finishers back in the day. So, like these wrestlers are getting compressed spines
Doing
and
these
shit.
damn stunners pisses me off. It's like the DDTs. My wife told me the other day because I love boxing, and she was like, "You should have been a boxer." And I was like, "Fuck you! I don't want. Nobody's gonna hit my face." Like, see, that's the thing. It's good to be a fan and watch it.
Yep.
You know. If I'm gonna fight, I'm fighting to defend myself. I don't want to fight for real.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'll be on the crowd with y'all watching, like, woohoo, yeah, do a flip, yeah. No, you're not gonna body slam me. If you try to body slam me, I'm not gonna help you out either. I'm not gonna put my hand on your thigh and try to flip me off.
Yeah, he ain't giving no post. All right, he ain't fucking helping. Hey, you have to lift him up. Okay.
Yes. But yeah. I got mad respect for you wrestlers, man. You two guys and all the wrestlers in the world, man. Y'all put your bodies on line. I love it, and just always. I wish it was back in the old days, back when people wanted to call themselves wrestlers, and then the real wrestlers would go in there and not tell them anything, and oh yeah, we train you, and then beat the fuck out of them.
Yeah,
that's why. Don't you ever come back and call me a wrestler? You're not a wrestler.
I think that's why I like the indie scene so much, because indie wrestling, like if you anybody listening right now, if you have a chance to go to a local show. And it's not AEW or WWE or any fucking major brand of wrestling, go to that shit because you're going to have a new appreciation for wrestling after you go.
It's the only wrestling I watch now.
Like, it's literally the reason why I became a wrestler. We went there to help. Like, one of our buddies and some of his friends started a wrestling company around our town, and the first night we were like, hey, if you need help, let us know. And they're like, you want to run security? So we ran security. And then from that point on, we were in the wrestling industry. And we worked our way up from security to fucking
gimmick.
Trainees.
Security guards.
Yep.
Carried around BB guns.
Not even. We were security to video guys. Yeah. We were carrying around fake or BB guns. Like, we had the fucking little orange thing ripped off or not on it, so people thought they were real guns and shit.
I learned
so
that you don't. It's not.
We never pulled them out.
It's not
or
a
used
law
them.
that you have to have those on there. It's only a law to sell them with the thing. After you get it, you can take them off.
Yeah, you can take them off, but when the cops get you,
It's not
if you don't
recommended.
fucking tell them and they shoot you, it's not their fault. Yeah. But needless to say.
Well, I want to bring one more thing. We was talking about Bret Hart and Hulk Hogan,
Yes.
and this is
Bring
how
it back.
far stuff has gone. WrestleMania. Now y'all gonna laugh at me at this, but you got to understand I was a little kid, so forgive me. Hulk Hogan was gone for a year, and Hulk Hogan came back in '93, and the only time I ever cried in professional wrestling, because I was so happy, was the day that people now consider the worst moment in professional wrestling. And I dare everybody who says that shit, go back and watch the tape. And people that was living during that time are either lying to you or will tell you the truth. But it was the biggest moment in 1993 when Hulk Hogan, after Bret Hart lost the title, went in the ring and beat Yokozuna for the WWF World Wrestling Federation title. Watch the crowd. Watch how everybody stood up on their feet. Crowd went crazy. The next day, the next day, everybody was talking about it. We was all and I promise you, it was one of the best moments in professional wrestling. And I guess now, almost 30 years later, everybody talks about it. It was the worst thing to ever happen.
Don't listen.
Yeah, isn't it now considered the worst
up.
WrestleMania besides WrestleMania 2?
Don't listen to that shit because modern day people that are judging.
My two favorite WrestleManias, 8 and 9, then they say is the worst WrestleManias.
Yeah. Don't listen.
And I'm like,
because
no, I don't listen to it.
Yeah, because the real wrestling fans, they know what actual wrestling is, and you know what actual wrestling is, and that pop, I was gonna say, the crowd reaction alone, has brought tears to my eyes for numerous accounts when I was watching WWF and WWE back in the day, I don't know if anybody remembers, but, no, this is stupid. When Rikishi fucking hit Stone Cold and broke his neck, and he was gone for a long time. When he finally came back, even granted, it wasn't fucking for a wrestling career. It was theatrics and fucking promos and all these random things, and then a wrestling match here and there.
Go back to April 2000. I think it was Backlash. The Rock versus Triple H. Rock. I was spoiler alert. The Rock beats Triple H for the
Yep, he
WWF
does.
title.
Of course.
But the reason why is because Stone Cold was supposed to be in his corner.
Yep.
And when that music hit, and you saw this big, fat, overweight Stone Cold Steve Austin, because he's been off because he had neck surgery.
Yeah.
So he gained a bunch of weight.
Yeah,
but when he came out in that crowd, with that chair,
it didn't even matter.
You heard. I had to replace the speakers on my TV, and that was in 2000, before we had speakers on TVs.
Yeah, I loved it.
That was the moment.
Yeah.
And so WrestleMania now was that same moment. And if you really want to watch some good wrestling and the worst WrestleMania ever, go back to WrestleMania
quote
8.
unquote the worst WrestleMania ever.
Yeah, Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper, Macho Man versus Ric Flair, Hogan versus Sid.
Those are all good matches. Like
Tito Santana versus Shawn Michaels. You're never going to see a match like that ever again.
No, you're never going to see Shawn Michaels wrestle again, because the last time he wrestled, him and Triple H looked at each other and were like, "We're too old for this shit." In ring, I said that.
I like that match just because Shawn Michaels really didn't give a fuck. Like when he got up on the top rope, and I think it was Undertaker was on the ground, and he just was like, "Fuck it!" Turned around, did a moonsault, didn't even look behind him.
Face first.
Yeah,
he landed face first in the fucking.
He was literally was like, "Fuck it," and just did it.
The crown jewel did something to all the old wrestlers. I swear to God.
Do you realize that every time they have a crown jewel or something in Saudi
they all come back?
or Kuwait, they come back and with like the worst match they ever had.
Yep,
the atmosphere
like Goldberg and Undertaker.
Oh
different.
My God.
The atmosphere is different over there.
I got something to ask. I got something I got to ask you. The NXT pay-per-view. Now, a lot of times, and I want to be straightforward because I told you I'm a fan. I don't know. Like people can go back in time and you listen to podcasts and stuff like that, and so you hear about wrestlers being blown up. And I never really seen it. I can never tell when somebody's blown up in the ring. But not this past NXT takeover, but the NXT takeover before when Samoa Joe won the NXT title.
Was he blown up?
Yeah, was he blown up? Because I could have swore that Samoa Joe could not breathe. I was sitting there breathing the oxygen mask for him.
From personal experience, he was probably blown up because, like,
Did
me
you
and
see
Miller,
that match?
We didn't because we don't watch NXT either. But
go to your WWE, go to Peacock. If you don't have it, I'll give you my code.
Just
I
got Peacock. No, I got you.
Go back to the NXT takeover.
Oh,
Samoa
looking
Joe.
at a picture.
Hang on, can we?
He looks blown up.
Can we pause this real quick? I really have to fucking piss.
Yeah, go.
All right.
Y'all should let me edit this episode. This motherfucker. I really gotta piss. Fuck this.
Should have just got piss
Fuck
bottles.
I used to do a podcast like that, and I was like, oh. And the woman or somebody would be looking at me like, what are you doing? Nothing. Creep.
What, the piss bottle?
Yeah, because that shit feels good. Especially after like 6 beers.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're sitting there, had to pee, and
yeah, I use piss bottles when we're kayaking so we don't have to find land and get out. I just have piss bottles. And Gatorade is the best. Gatorade bottles because they're wide.
I'm a private investigator. Water jugs. I kept big cups, and water jugs in my car.
Yeah.
Or my SUV. Because you can't move for 8 hours.
Yeah.
And my ass was sitting there like peeing in big gulps and water jugs. And of course, the whole car smells like urine.
Yeah.
And you're sitting because you don't clean up after yourself. You nasty fuck. And then.
Well, I know all about piss jugs. Ask my wife, she hates it.
So when the police come because somebody called the cops on you because you've been in the neighborhood for like 7 hours, they roll down your window, sir. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's my piss. How you doing, officer?
That reminds me of that one time I was in the middle of nowhere driving out to my wife because she used to go to school in Boston, and I had to piss, so I got off an exit, and there's nothing on this exit. And eventually I couldn't hold it anymore, so I pulled over and I poured out my soda out the window, and I acted like I was grabbing something from the back seat, but really I was pissing into a large cup of soda. And I accidentally spilled it, and it was in the cup holder. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't have any napkins. So I get to my wife's school, and she's like, hey, can you give my friend a ride back to her dorm? And I was like, yeah, but she's got to understand there's like a puddle of piss in the cup holder. So, so I was like to her friend, if you want a ride, I'll give you a ride, but there is piss in the cup holder, so don't use it. She's like, oh, that's fine. I'm like, all right. Get in there. Fucking there's like piss in the cup holder.
The best thing in the world is when, like, I used to dip, and you dip in a can or a bottle.
Yeah.
And then you're a kid. You leave it sitting down somewhere because you're a nasty fuck. And then all of a sudden a kid will come, and like a five, somebody who just don't know any better. Like, they'll sit there and want to drink out of your cup.
Oh yeah.
No,
Don't
touch that.
No, oh fuck that! You gonna learn today? No, it's no. You shouldn't be. Who tells you to go grab somebody else's cup and drink at them?
That's
Nasty
true.
fuck.
They need to learn. That's true.
You gonna learn today? At least I was nice enough to do cherry skull.
Oh,
that was fruity.
Yeah, now it's flavored.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I bought Skull once, and it was an experience. I was like, oh shit! I bought the pouches when they first came out. And I was like,
I used to do that when
this is pretty
my wife
dope.
wanted me to quit.
Yeah. I was like, I don't have to roll down the windows. I just spit in this cup.
You can see it. But back to that Samoa Joe, if y'all go back and y'all really want to see somebody that is like even the fans know that he's blown up, like he can't breathe.
Yeah.
Like he is like.
If this is the picture, he looks blown up.
I guess he lost the top. I mean, like, he's not the champion no more, so I guess he lost it like soon afterwards because I haven't seen him on TV since. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure he don't have a job no more because he looked out of shape. Yeah. Like, I've never seen somebody like that bad in the wrestling ring before. I felt bad for him.
He kind of looks like
because I'm a
Snitsky.
Samoa Joe fan.
The picture that I'm looking at, he looks like Snitsky.
Oh, y'all remember Snitsky?
Oh man,
that was back when it was like wrestling started getting stupid.
Yeah,
but you still watch it because it was
it's
wrestling.
Not my fault.
Back then, I was watching TNA. Like, people would joke and laugh about TNA, but TNA had the best wrestling.
Yeah, looking back on it, I wish I watched TNA instead of shit talking it because it's like, oh man, I missed a lot of moments.
Yep, Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jeff Jarrett. Like, he's another person that when he was in WCW and WWF, I did not like, and then TNA happened.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, Jeff Jarrett. Okay,
way better. Why do I like him now?
Yeah,
because they didn't give a stupid gimmick.
Yep.
Yeah, and then TNA was like that hidden secret that nobody knew about. It was like, oh, like AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. Like, I never watched Ring of Honor a day in my life.
Yeah.
But
I didn't even know how to watch it back then.
Me either.
Yeah, so like we in 2019, the first time I ever watched Ring of Honor was at Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
Because my cousin and I was Raphael, who's on the CTS Interview Room, or Sports Room. We was walking. We was going to a comedy show in New York, and I was like, dude, they got wrestling at Madison Square Garden. I never been to the Garden before. And he's like, well, I got tickets for a comedy show. I'm going to end this. And he's like, calm down. So we go in there, buy tickets and everything. And this guy who worked for CNN, he worked for a company. I'm not going to say what company. He worked for a company, and he was a real cool guy. And his company gave away suite tickets, like corporate tickets. Yeah. So they were in suites and everything in Madison Square Garden. Now, anybody knows anything about suites in Madison Square Garden, these are expensive fucking tickets. Like, to experience this, you have to be either rich or you got to be, and maybe on certain events you probably can afford it, but most of the time this is not something that you can afford.
Yeah.
For $50, they gave us these free tickets for $50. We got nothing but free liquor, nothing but free food. We was pretty much close to ringside. They won't show it on the pay-per-view, but Enzo and Big Cass both came walking past us.
Oh,
I mean, awesome. Enzo stood right there in front of me, and I'm thinking I'm going to be on TV, but I rewatched it like 2 years later, and it was like, nope. Because when I got the New Japan Pro app, I finally watched it.
Yeah.
And I was like, motherfucker, I could have been on TV. You can see a little bit of me, but you can't tell it's me because the way the camera is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my only time I ever watched Ring of Honor. It was good. It was pretty cool.
I don't think
because
I've
New
ever
Japan
watched
was there.
Ring of Honor.
We've wrestled with people, and we do shows with people who've wrestled for Ring of Honor, but yeah.
Who's the most famous people y'all wrestled?
A few now.
I don't think we've wrestled.
We never wrestled anybody famous, but we've done shows with famous people, so...
Oh, I see.
There's
Who have you
Bret
met?
Hart, or not Bret Hart.
Jesus
Bret.
Christ, if it was Bret Hart.
Bret
my
got
fucking
clotheslined by
Oh, yeah, fucking Snooki, not Snooki, JWoww's boyfriend
yeah.
from
He used to work in our
Jersey
promotion.
Shore.
I don't.
Yeah, it's not so
He's been on
famous.
AEW a few
Yeah, he's
times.
on AEW now. We've had
No.
Little Guido.
Little Guido.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know from ECW, bro?
Yeah.
Oh, Nunzio.
Nunzio, yeah.
Nunzio,
Little Guido,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
We've had him.
He was cool.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. He's awesome.
Kenny Dykstra.
We've worked shows. We haven't wrestled for shows, but we helped set up the show, and like we were trained wrestlers at the time, but we didn't get spots on the show. But for Billy Gunn and Carlito.
Carlito is so funny. When he was leaving,
He was looking at us, like seeing if like anybody wanted to
he was
say
like,
goodbye
all
or
right,
shake
see you later, guys.
shake
and we're all
hands,
just,
and
like,
we just
looking at
stared
him
at
with
him.
shit in our hands because we're taking down.
And we got like poles
all
from the
right.
ring in our hands, and we're just like, "Bye, dude."
and he's just like,
All right.
all right.
Like,
No
I'm
one?
not
All right.
gonna set down this fucking ring post to shake your hand. I'm sorry, but like, I don't care how famous you are. Like, I got a job to do when it comes to wrestling.
We gotta go and eat.
Yeah, we gotta fucking hurry up and tear down this ring and get to somewhere. So
I
can-
did feel bad because I like Carlito.
Yeah, I love
But
Carlito.
I just had so much shit in my hands, and I was struggling to lift up all these mats, and I finally got him. I finally
I
got
miss
him up,
Carlito.
and he was just like,
Same.
"All right, see you guys." And I'm like, "Oh fuck, I don't want to put this down now." Like I struggled getting this up.
yeah,
But, yeah.
that's not cool.
We quickly hung out with Kim Gale.
Oh,
Kim,
yeah.
Gale or whatever.
Gail
her name is.
Kim.
Oh, Gail Kim.
Yeah,
Oh,
she-
she is beautiful.
she
Her
wasn't
husband
even
probably
supposed to
can
be
whoop
on the
y'all's
show,
asses.
was she?
I think she was.
Was she?
Yeah.
You know her husband probably can. Her husband probably can whoop your asses now.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen her husband?
No.
No,
Her husband's
actually.
built like.
I would
her
imagine,
husband is
though.
actually a chef. That because I have to watch his show with my wife, but her husband is like on one of those TLC hosts for cooking shows. And
Yep.
Like Restaurant Impossible, and he's a German guy or somewhere in Europe, and he's like a Gordon Ramsay, but he basically
Oh no.
he tries to save restaurants, and he'll go and cuss these people out and everything. So how they met, because I remember the episode, it was WWE's wrestlers came to be part of his show or something,
Yeah.
and that's how he met Gail Kim, and they've been married ever since. Now I know it sounds like I'm a tabloid, but I just remember that episode. And
Yeah. It makes sense.
that's how they.
though.
TNA actually did a special on it or something, and I was like, "Oh, she's actually really married to that guy." And I used to love him because he used to get pissed off. He's like Gordon Ramsay; he'll get pissed off and you stupid mother. And I'm like, "Yeah, tell him, motherfucker, just clean the back of that fucking refrigerator. But when you get, are y'all guys married?
He is.
I am.
Okay, so you're still happy.
Oh, this
okay.
guy.
Yeah.
Okay. This guy.
So if you know better than I do, you got to watch TV, what your wife watches, and stuff that you was told yourself you'll never watch ever in the history.
Oh yeah, cake
You got to
wars.
do two things. You got
Cooking
you got two decisions. You either learn to like it or learn to sit there and shut the fuck up.
Yeah, cooking shows
I've
back
learned
in
this.
the
I used to-
late 2010s or late 2000s.
I used to. What I do now is I play TV in my head. Like I'll sit there and watch. Like we're talking wrestling, I'll watch old wrestling matches while I'm watching this bullshit on TV. And I'm like, hoarders again.
Oh fucking.
Fuck.
I like
Bret
that
Hart.
show. I fucking love Orders. It's like, how do you collect all this shit and like?
Well,
It's too. My wife works in the operating room, and so every time like a hospital show or something comes on, she becomes one of those fucking like professional wrestling fans.
Yeah,
Like, I'll sit there every time something happens and it didn't look as real as possible.
yeah.
Or, and they're pointing out everything. Or better yet, I don't know how y'all grew up watching wrestling. Like, I had the type of mom and family members that used to despise wrestling. But then when people come in while you're watching wrestling, they want to talk about professional wrestling and say stupid shit every single fucking time. It was my number one. I hate that fucking comment. It was. I used to like wrestling back when it was real, but now it's so fake. I'm like,
I never got that. I never got
Yeah, I
that because
never-
my
Oh,
mom
my-
liked wrestling. My dad loved wrestling.
No, wrestling was like the devil, and to my mom's side of the family.
Yeah,
Now, my dad and I, we was like, boxing, wrestling, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So my dad was the one that turned me on to it, but my dad liked the old NWA wrestling, and I was that Hulkamania. So like, I still remember one of my earliest memories was Survivor Series '87, and my dad, I guess the term, I guess it's not illegal no more because it's been almost 40 years, but he used to have one of those the satellite dishes that will give you free pay-per-views.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
had that.
Yep.
My uncle used to do that.
So
for us.
Starcade and Survivor Series actually came on at the same time, and I was getting pissed off at my dad. Like, if I miss Hulk Hogan, like I'm like 4 years old, and I'm like, I remember like getting mad at my dad. And this, you could get away with it then. 1 year later, that shit stopped because you get thrown out the window. But I just remember looking at my dad and was like, if you make me miss Hulk Hogan, I'm gonna be so mad. I just remember my dad looking at me, boy, who the fuck you? All right, I'll tell you what. When this match is over, we'll put Hulk Hogan on. Just shut the fuck up and sit down. I don't even think you're mine. Now sit down. I'm like, okay.
And when we got free satellite, that shit was awesome.
Oh, but see, yeah, especially when that we
Early
found
2000s.
I can't get. No, this is like
Yeah.
80s. This is back when
I had
like,
the '90s version where you had a card and you put it in.
Oh, you could
And then you
fucking
had to-
hack the card. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we bring the card to my uncle, and he'd swipe it in his machine and be like, there you go, we'll bring it home, and we got all the channels.
See, I had the satellite, and I experienced the black box too, where you could just get that hacked box, and it was just
yes,
all
the
that
black
shit.
box.
The black
I got
box.
it. I got the black box
Yeah.
at the end.
Kids
of,
today will never understand the black box.
Yeah, you can go on eBay and buy it. See, the poor thing about me is I got it maybe a year, maybe a year and a half, 2 years before streaming,
Yeah.
before everything went digital.
Yeah.
So I missed it at the tail end. But when I finally got it, like 2003, and it was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
Yep.
this is great. And then next thing I know, in like 2004, 2005, and it was like,
Everything's
we're
gone.
going digital.
Yep.
And then it was like, wait, what
They
the
all
fuck?
went
So I'm
digital.
saying, and then no more. Now everything's streaming now, and of course you can go with your Fire Stick and get
Yeah.
Fire Stick now.
but that shit only works for like a month.
No, the Viking TV thing. It's basically a black box for the Fire Stick. You pay $20. I don't know how to do it. It seems sketchy. My cousin was explaining it to me, but he has it. My parents have it, so I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do it." Like they both have it, so you got to like PayPal $20 to this person, and then he gives you a link, and then you put that information in, and you log in, and boom. And if you miss a payment, it shuts off. But as soon as you pay it, within like 5 or 10 minutes, your service is back on. So it's like the guy's like right there monitoring it.
It gives you every app.
3,500 channels, not the apps, just the channels that have been taken off because of the apps and shit. So like I was saying, like my dad the other day when I went in,
What are you talking about? Channels? What channels are you talking about?
every channel, like it's
it's like-
absurd
like
channels.
Showtime?
I don't even know how to explain it. Like when I walked into my parents' house, I was like, "What are you watching?" And they're like, "This is Viking TV," and because it was old school WWE Monday night fucking playing. So it was the Shawn Michaels and Triple H match that was playing, and then Stone Cold came out afterwards and stunned fucking Eric Bischoff.
And
I'm
you
like,
can watch that on. You
can watch it on Peacock, but these channels play it 24/7, and there's 3,500 channels. So like, obviously, you get every NFL channel. You get fucking all the wrestling channels. You get all the porn, obviously. I didn't even know there was porn channels still until my dad like pulled it up, or no, my cousin pulled it up at Christmas. It was a Christmas party. He's like, "Hey, Al, look at this!"
I can see this. I can see it. Daddy, what you want? Get out!
Yeah. He's like, "Turn that shit off. They're about to be here." It was great, but
no, fuck that. No, I don't see. Y'all, like I said, I grew up older than y'all guys. I'm a little older than you, so you know when people walked in and you was watching that stuff,
turn away. Let me finish.
And you know you're about to be busted, and you know you're about to finish. Nah, you're just gonna be busted. There was no. You know what? It's just like with that piece of equipment you had down about that shit. I can't put this down. You know how hard it was for me to get this up. No, I'm sorry. I don't care how cool you are, Mom.
Yeah.
I'm going.
But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool because like you can jailbreak.
He talked about being caught by my mom by masturbating, and this guy was like, yeah. Anyway, yeah. You pay $20.
I thought that was like a normal thing. I was caught by my mom. I thought that just happens to everybody, and you just know to be more secretive from that point on. Hide it a little bit better. Like you lock the door, go into a closet, go to a friend's house. You know.
I remember the scribbly porn. Remember those channels
the
that were
porn.
Scribble. Yeah.
After midnight, you can just catch a boob here and there.
yeah. It would leak through in black and white.
Or sometimes you get the noise and you're watching it, and then it goes and then
that was enough. That's all you needed.
And then sometimes that picture would clear up just a little bit.
Yeah,
and
enough for like good sound to come in.
Yep.
And then that was like, yes.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yes.
American Pie touched on it the best way. I feel like.
Yeah.
Was like, I was like, oh shit, I've done that. As I'm watching him get caught with his cock in his sock.
The bad thing about it, one of the things about getting older is that we're talking about wrestling, and my little girl and Jaden, my little girl and my son will come up to me and tell me like, "Daddy, you like wrestling, don't you?" I'm like, yeah. And you got to understand, they were born in 2010 and 2011.
Yeah,
the 1 year, they're exactly 1 year apart. Though both born in December. My daughter was born December 2010. My son was born December 2011. Oof. So
I bet they love Christmas time.
They do. They don't. See, my birthday is December 18th, so they don't.
Oh, geez.
So they don't get Christmas like I get, like birthday and they don't get the whole this is your birthday and Christmas present. They get this is your birthday present,
and then here's your Christmas.
Over here is your Christmas presents.
Yeah,
they didn't grow up like I did when I got like
one.
Yeah, everybody just gave me nothing for my birthday. Like, everything was birthday and Christmas, and then everybody else got birthday and Christmas. I'm like, fuck y'all stinky bastards.
See, I lucked out. I had Christmas, and then there was Easter, and then my birthday in June. So I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah. You're one of those.
Next 6 months, I get fucking gifts.
Yeah.
Now the bitch about that shit is my two sisters were born in December and January. My sister,
jeez,
my sister was born December 28th. Do you think that she got Christmas and birthday presents?
Oh no,
no.
She was celebrating birthday on Christmas, right?
She got her birthday 3 days after Christmas, and just because she was loved more, she got birthday presents and Christmas presents. I was like, you fucking assholes. But my little girl came up to me and she was like, "Daddy, you like professional wrestling, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, Kelsey, you know I do." Shit, I'm watching it now. And she's like, "Oh shit, you are okay." I said, "Kelsey, don't say shit like that." But anyway, she looked at me and she's like, "So you know the actor Dwayne Johnson?" I said, "Yeah, I know The Rock." No, Dwayne Johnson.
The
Rock, yes. And Dwayne Johnson. I'm like, I know I'm saying the name wrong. Forgive me, my speech impairment. But she's like, Dwayne Johnson. I'm like, The Rock. She's like, who?
That's
the
how
hell
we
is
know
this
him.
Rock guy? I said, well, Kelsey, get to your freaking point. And she's like, she's sitting there like, did you know he used to wrestle? I said, get the fuck out of my face. I was like, motherfucker.
That's when you school her real quick and be like, before he was called Dwayne Johnson, he was called Dwayne The Rock Johnson for his acting career. So,
And before that, it was just
The Rock.
The Rock.
Starring
Before
The
that,
Rock.
it was Rocky Maivia.
Yep.
Yeah, of course I tell her, like, look, here, let me fast forward.
Yep.
Let's put a wrestling match on. No, I don't care, Daddy. No, sit down.
If you
And then I'll put on WrestleMania 27 when I was there. And I was like, look, this is The Rock. See, and that big head motherfucker right there, that's your daddy. You see him? Okay, but see, he used to wrestle, and he was known as The Rock. He was the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. And then I sit there, and for like 20 minutes, you can see my daughter, because I'm being an asshole at this point, and I want to go over all his history and shit. And she's like, why do I fucking talk to you?
I love it. I love The Rock. Like, every time he would come out, like, it sent chills
goosebumps
down my spine. And then, like, you do
Yes.
a little deep dive or whatever because, like, now it don't matter. You search up, like, him and Stone Cold's friendship and shit. And, like, before they would have a match, they would have, like, bets and shit. Like, who could sell each other's finisher the best. That's like, and there's actually a match tied to it. I forget the actual link to the article, but there's the match tied to it, and it shows. And I just remember The Rock selling the stunner so fucking ridiculous. I was like, oh shit. I was like, he definitely fucking won that 30 pack because they bet a 30 pack to whoever could sell each other's finisher the best.
And a lot of people don't. You talking about how you felt when The Rock came out.
Yeah.
People listen, when The Rock came out, when you hear that music,
oh man,
you got goosebumps.
Yep.
Hulk Hogan was the same way. People, all the little fucking haters. Like when you heard that dun 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 dun, you knew it was ass whooping time.
Even
you didn't. And then that shirt came off, and I'm talking about you knew it was time. It was time to get down. And so that's what pissed me off at kids today. You know, I don't ever go back to somebody who grew up in this, you know, as a kid, and they're like, "Who's your favorite wrestler?" And they'll say, "Buddy Rogers." And, oh man, Buddy Rogers did this and this. And I'll never say, man, he was boring. Because I'm telling you right now, I watch a lot of 60s and 50s and 60s wrestling, and it's hard to sit through a fucking match.
It is
sometimes.
It is.
And so, but for people that grew up watching that, you know, that was wrestling for them. And
that's what
it's
they
like
know.
me now watching Monday Night Raw from 1996. It's
Exactly.
like, that was wrestling for me.
Exactly.
You know, Hogan, until this day, it holds up. You can watch. I mean, who was ever first professional wrestler to ever host Saturday Night Live? Hulk Hogan. Who was the first wrestler to be on
That's
Sports
true.
Illustrated? Hulk Hogan. So,
But it's like
you know,
where wrestling is now. That's wrestling today, you know? Like, we may not accept it the way that we do when we grew up, but, like, we just, you know, have to live with it at this point.
You don't really see wrestlers on the cover of shit anymore.
No, that's
Don't
because,
really
like,
cross over into anything anymore.
WWE kind of blew that shit up to the point where wrestling doesn't hit the same way that it used to. You know, like, I remember at one point wrestling was everywhere. Everywhere you looked, there was something involved with wrestling.
I remember
somebody involved with wrestling, and now it's like
when The Rock hosted SNL.
Yeah.
Fucking Vince McMahon showed up.
Yep.
Fucking
Yeah.
Mick Foley, Triple H. And it was great because you had like the Vince McMahon of comedy, which is Lorne Michaels, and then Vince McMahon right on the same screen.
Yeah.
To me, that was awesome because I love SNL.
That's another thing that's changed. Like you say, you love SNL. I was a big fan of SNL. I can't watch an episode now.
Yeah, it's
not-
hard to watch now.
Yeah.
It's
so not funny no more.
But
I mean, it's like
it's hit and misses.
Yeah.
But my favorite time is the mid 2000, like 2010ish.
no, look from the time. I mean, it's hard. See, it comes back to the time when you was born. Like I can watch the 70s SNL, and people say that was the best SNL of all time. Really, I can barely laugh at it, and people don't realize like, how can you not find this funny? It was like because I don't get the fucking jokes.
Yeah,
because I wasn't alive during that time.
Yeah.
But then I can start watching it from 1988 to
and
all the way to 2016, and I can laugh my ass off because the jokes are funny because I understand it. I remember the Bush and the other guy election. I remember Clinton and Bush and Perot.
Yeah,
I remember can I finish? When Dana Carvey used to come on there and do Ross Perot.
Yeah,
can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish? That shit was fucking hilarious because I knew that's what Ross Perot used to do. And people, who the fuck is Ross Perot? Yes, so I'm that old. So SNL used to be so funny to me, and now it's just like, oh, this I can't watch it.
Yeah,
it's hard to watch.
Yeah.
It's not hit and miss. It's not funny to me.
I really like Pete Davidson. I think he's fucking hilarious.
I mean,
but he does this character on there. Oh, what the fuck is his name?
Chad.
I fucking love Chad because it's,
Chad. Okay, Chad's fun. I'll give you Chad.
well,
Okay.
Pete Davidson's pretty funny. I mean, yeah,
Pete Davidson's fucking.
They
great.
have
I
their
love him.
actors throughout well, not actors, but comedians throughout the years, like, but they don't like embrace the funny ones, like Tim Robinson when he was a writer for SNL. They
Yeah,
didn't
he's-
embrace him at all. And oh my god, I spilled my beer twice. So bad. Fuck. Yeah, they didn't embrace him at all, and then all of a sudden Netflix picks him up, and it's all fucking rejected SNL skits, and this guy fucking skyrockets, and now he's like just as popular as if he was
Who's this guy?
Tim Robinson.
Okay, Tim Robinson.
Yeah, he was an
Yeah,
extra on SNL, and then
He's
also
got
wrote some.
He's got a show on Comedy Central,
Yeah,
and Detroiters, and then he's got the show on Netflix called "I Think You Should Leave." And me and Mr. Miller here find a lot of inspiration in
love.
him.
I think you should leave. It's
Because
so
it's that
ridiculous.
awkward comedy, and just for some reason, like I can put myself in that position and be. It just I find comedy out of that, just being there and just feeling like
We're
what are they
listening to that
thinking right now?
podcast? The podcast we're listening to, the dude barely talked, and we were just laughing so fucking hard.
I know.
because it's the way he talks and
Yeah.
delivers it. It's so fucking good.
It's because he takes like his actual anxiety and his problems that he had growing up, and he turns it into comedy, and it's like that's the best
Right.
way to do it. You know, make fun of it. But yeah, he's great.
Did y'all see that sketch with Davidson and he was doing? You know, they got all those music videos from the Lonely Island guys. You know, Adam Sandberg used to get off, on the boat, and so now they still doing that shit. They basically just took that formula and do it now, and they haven't stopped.
Yeah,
But Pete Davidson did the music video, and these three writers or guests, and hey, y'all want to be in a music video with me?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. And then they're like, yeah, the three virgins or something. And then he was like, I'm fucking the joke up. I'm sorry, but they were like the doctor. He said, even your doctor agrees. And then they're like, oh my god, like this is embarrassing. Yeah, that's my real doctor.
yeah. They bring in.
And I'm
his
like,
real doctor
I'm sitting there
and
like,
shit, so
and everybody listening, they're like, that shit ain't funny. Like, once again, it's word of mouth. Go and watch it. It's on YouTube.
yeah.
Like, damn. And while you're on YouTube, please feel free to watch the CTS Sports Room.
Yes.
I heard that's a good.
check them out.
Check them out. I heard that they're pretty funny and pretty entertaining. I'm sure.
Yeah,
Some
he
of
doesn't know personally, but you
No.
should take his word for it.
No, honestly, they won't even let me on the show.
Yeah, they won't.
Half the
Actually, he has a restraining order, and he can't go 50 feet within the recording area. So,
let me see. Let me show you something. I don't know how much more time we. How much time we got, y'all? Motherfucker.
For editing purposes, I usually stop around 120 minutes. But if we're having a good time,
We can keep it going.
I'll let it slip.
We can also end it and just keep talking. It don't matter.
Yeah, I get it. 100. They're like hour and 20 minutes. We're all fucking off, dude. Like you're a fucking boring motherfucker. But I had two like new guys on here, and we was doing a show, and I thought I had it up here, but it's not up here. My wife called in during the show because we decided to go do live, and my wife called me. I said, "Hold on, it's live TV." My wife, and I was just like, "Fuck, baby, I'm on a show." She was like, "Hey, Stingray," and she thought Stingray was on there. Because here's the thing, my wife has a joke. There's nothing sexier than a fat wallet. Like no matter how ugly you are, but you got a fat wallet, you're the sexiest motherfucker of all time, and that's my wife's joke. She thinks guys with fat wallets are like the sexiest motherfuckers. So we got this guy Stingray, and people, college football fans know who Stingray is. He was the guy who did the Mississippi State rants and everything, and he was on Tosh.0. He was on SEC Network. Alabama.com did a little special on him. It was on YouTube. Stingray, I'm not gonna put his stuff on Front Street or anything, but he has a little bit of money, and God bless him for it. So my wife knows that. So every time Stingray gets on there, she's like, "Hey, Stingray," and she starts trying to fix her hair. It should be funny, you know?
Yeah.
So she calls in. She thought I'm doing a show with Stingray, and she's like, "Hey, Stingray." I say, "Stingray's not on here." And then she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Daddy." I said, "That's right, I ain't good daddy either." And you can see the guy that worked with us, Joe Will. I put him on Front Street because he's a little. And Clacker, this little 5'2" little motherfucker. They're like, "Oh my God!" Now you got to understand, these guys are like 22, 23 years old.
Yeah.
"Oh my God! Oh no! Like my mom is watching this." And I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Like they acting like my wife said, like, "Will you please put your penis in my butthole?"
Yeah, it's
not
not
like
sexual.
I'm saying that. Yeah, I'm just like, what's your problem? You don't understand. We're trying to make a career out of this, and we're like, motherfucker, you own. What the fuck's your problem?
Yeah.
She's like, you know one thing, you make fun of mentally handicapped people. You mean retarded people? See, that's what I'm talking about. What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, dude, lighten the fuck up. Oh my God, I can't take this no more. Oh shit, where's my tampons? What the fuck is wrong? Is this a fucking joke? I thought they were joking with me.
See, that's the shitty part about the younger generation, because that is how they're very sensitive.
I need my safe space.
I need my safe space.
I thought it was a joke too. I thought it was like, this is just some news propaganda bullshit. But these young kids are just like that. I told Stingray, man, I ain't working with these young kids. I work with one. I got Tyler, the guy that you saw pop up right here. I work with him because like he's just like whatever. And, you know, he has a degree in communications. Just so does Clacker. Most of everybody on our channel except for me, it's the only person with no degree. Everybody else has a college degree, and these guys, you know, they kind of looking at it like this is a way of training for my future. And I understand that, but when the episode was, came on and it was live, and you can see Joe Will just gets off. And we thought he lost communication or something, like an internet signal. And then Clacker was like, "Oh yeah, that's planned." And then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose on like Facebook message, because we have a group page, like a group message board, on Facebook. Just you're not gonna mess up my career. From my wife calling me daddy. What the fuck is wrong with you?
It sounds like you don't need those people on the podcast or
no, they're good guys. They're good guys.
Yeah,
they're good guys.
They probably mean well, but like...
But my thing is, not that we're trying to copy. We can never be Ball Store Sports by no means.
Yeah,
but
you gotta be your own thing. Yeah,
we can never be. I mean, my goal is aim for the star. You may reach the moon. We aim
Moon's
big.
good enough.
Yeah.
Coming from
big.
investment terminology, the moon is perfect.
Yeah. So we but I tell these guys, man, y'all gotta lighten up, man. So I'm sitting there like I was watching our show tonight, and they were live, and I'm just sitting there like, dudes, y'all gonna have to like be funny or something. I don't like, golly. Yeah. I love y'all, man, but Clacker, like, cover your face. I'm like, do something, y'all. Come on. But you know, this young generation, they got something that is special. It's called women
intuition.
Women intuition, women feelings. I don't know what the fuck they got.
Feelings, now. Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, y'all really got to like calm the fuck
sensitivity.
down.
Like, yeah, I don't.
And then they're looking at me like, you want to watch AEW wrestling? No, I don't want to watch AEW wrestling. Damn it.
The only reason I watch AEW, and I'm going to say this right now, is for the Lucha Bros, because the way that they tag team is the way that I feel like it reminds me of the Hardy Boys back in the day. Like, they're just so on point with each other. I mean, granted, they are actual brothers in real life. They're just so on point with each other. And that was the thing with the Hardy Boys. Like, they were actual brothers or real friends. Like, that makes the best goddamn tag teams, I swear. Like, you can't just go into a tag team with, like, some random, other wrestler and be like, hey, this is what we're going to be called. It's a little mixture of both. Let's do this and this. Kind of like Randy Orton and fucking what's his name now?
Oh, yeah. What the fuck is it?
Fuck. I don't even watch wrestling, but I watch the clips of them because it is kind of funny, but they're reaching. They really are reaching for anybody's attention at this point. With like, it's some stoner surfer dude that rides a scooter to the ring. I forget his fucking name. He doesn't wear shoes, knee pads, or anything. He's literally barefoot.
You're talking about on WWE.
Yeah, WWE. He goes out barefoot.
That guy was an MMA. That guy was on what's that UFC show?
He's a great wrestler. Don't get me wrong. Like,
what's that UFC show when you move into a house?
I know what you're talking about. I can't.
The Ultimate Fighter.
Yes,
he was on that show. Yep. And he fought in MMA. I mean, he's a badass. He is. Don't just. I forgot what his name is. Matt Ryder or something.
Yes. Thank you. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Matt Riddle.
Yeah, Matt Riddle. There we go.
He's a legitimate badass. Yeah. He fought in the UFC and everything. And the reason why he's not in UFC no more is because
weed.
He couldn't stop smoking weed.
Yeah, I know. I heard this story. Like, I know that much about him, and I'm glad WWE embraces the fact that he smokes weed. Like,
and Dana Wright pretty much was like, this fucking idiot had hit the world to his, and he just couldn't stop smoking weed.
I don't understand why that's a problem, though. Like, this is coming from us. We live in a state where it's legalized recreationally, so like, fucking, it's a day to day for everybody around here. So like, when we see people getting ridiculed for smoking weed, we're like, us out of anybody's like, why? Why the fuck? Like, what? If anything, he's smoking it to help with the pain, because like, I do the same thing after wrestling a match or fucking going to practice. Like, I'm hurting. I'm sore as shit. Like, don't let anybody fool you. Wrestling fucking hurts.
I think we talked about that earlier.
Yeah, we did. We definitely touched on it. It is a fucking joke.
When I told you, like, just fall on the floor.
Yeah, that's basically the real, like, that's actually how we train somebody, because one of our trainees, he couldn't take a bump in the ring the right way. He never tucked his head. So I brought him to my parents' house where I was living at the time, and I was like, hey, take a bump on my basement floor. And he fucking did it, and he did it the way, and he smashed his head off the fucking concrete 3 times before he started tucking his head, and from that point on, he tucked his neck in.
And now he's a super good wrestler.
Yeah, and now he's one of the best wrestlers that they trained, and it's just like, you're fucking welcome, bro.
And the bad thing about it is, just take that, just use that for example. Think about how hard it is to remember to every time you fall. You two guys know how many times you fall in a wrestling match. This is going to the wrestling fans. It's like,
We
I can
count
do
our
that.
bumps.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Think about what he just said, that story about tucking your head.
Yep.
Think about how many times these guys fall in the ring and just in one match. So every time you fall, so you won't hurt yourself, you have to tuck your head, right?
Mhm.
So, and you
time.
fall maybe 15, 20 times in a match, if maybe more or less.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah, and so every time he falls, he has to remember to tuck his head so he doesn't get a concussion or
While
break his
you're-
neck or anything. While you're in midstream fucking body slam or flipping or anything.
And not to mention, like, don't mean to break character a little bit, but not to mention, like, you also have to play to the crowd. So, like, you have to show, like if you're hurting, you need to make sure the crowd knows you're fucking in pain. So you have to face them, not face, like, the entrance where you came out. Like, you need to face the majority of the crowd. Like, you got to show them that you're in pain. You have to remember all this while you're wrestling, and you have to remember what you're doing in the match so you don't hurt anybody. And it's like, every time you take a bump, everything you remember is gone for, like, at least a couple, like, 30 seconds to a minute, because, like, it's almost to the point where you're getting a concussion. Like, it takes, like, 2 minutes off of your life. They've done the science on this shit. Like,
and so to all you guys who's like, I can be a professional wrestler, they just know how to fall. Just remember, you got to know how to fall every fucking time you're in the match.
Every time. No matter how winded you are, no matter how tired or hurt you are, you need to make sure that the other wrestler that you're facing gets everything that he's getting in, or at least enough to where, like, if he's the bad guy, the crowd's booing him, or if he's the good guy, the crowd's cheering him. Like, you need to pay attention to all of that while getting your ass kicked.
and you still got to try to win the match.
Yeah, you're still trying to win, and it's like,
you're still trying to win, you assholes. So,
well, that's what I mean. Like,
not you, but you guys. I'm talking to the people at home.
Yeah, like, no, I know, but it's like, it's just so much to remember all at once. Like, you're trying to make your opponent look good while you're trying to make yourself look good, and you're trying to win that match. And it's like, you're giving it your all, no matter what. And
because you know what, if you win, you get more money. That winning payday is a lot more than that losing pay. Am I right, fellas?
Main event does make more.
Look at you motherfuckers.
I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, they do pay more.
You get 2 hot dogs.
Yeah, you get 2 hot dogs and a paycheck.
And a firmer handshake.
This is kayfabe talk here, y'all. So you win, you get more money if you win.
Yeah,
correct, fellas?
And you get more food. So, like,
there you go.
That's what we were talking about with the hot dogs. Like, at the end of the event, like, usually the main event, they'll come back with all the rest of the freebies for the concession, like anything that didn't sell, and they're like, go at it.
Except for the losers.
Yeah, except for the losers. The losers, you have to, pay for pizza yourself. Like, you actually have to pay full price.
Yeah, you talk about those indie shows. I'm one of those motherfuckers that you're sitting there and watching match. I used to go to some indie shows down here in Alabama, and motherfuckers, or Georgia, and motherfuckers would like have, or because the rules of wrestling.
A rope break, yeah.
Your foot, if your foot is underneath the rope or on the rope or something.
Yeah, it's a rope break.
Yeah. So damn good well you need to stop counting 3.
Yep.
So this one match, I got so fucking pissed off. I was like, his foot was underneath the rope, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, referee, his foot was underneath the rope. What the fuck are you doing? Do you not know how to fucking referee?
See, I mean, that's the problem.
And the referee, who was like 15 years old, was looking at me like,
there you go, another issue. All right, so he's young, he's inexperienced, and clearly he wasn't fucking paying attention. See, I yell at the refs all the time, and I'm like, ref, come on, that was a 3 count. You need to count faster. Yeah, like, obviously.
Once again, I'm looking at this like a sport, and I'm like, just like I'm doing college football or pro football or at boxing. Like, do you not see that his foot was underneath the Do I need to give you the fucking rules of professional wrestling? And matter of fact, the whole fucking damn time in the ring, he was punching me in his hand. Everybody knows you punch with your forearm. Do you not know the fucking rules?
Yep.
What the fuck is wrong with you? And it was like yelling at a kid at McDonald's for getting your order wrong. Like,
literally, the ref should have been yelling at him to be like, "Hey, no closed fists, open fists."
Yeah,
shit
obviously
like that.
That 15-year-old kid was like, man, I bet he lives at home with his mom.
Honestly,
he's a virgin.
Honestly, he was probably still training.
Joke on the referee because I was married and I was still having sex at that time. So
we'll give him the
gotcha,
benefit.
referee.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that he was still being trained by an actual referee. And he got scolded afterwards because if he was reffing my match, he would never ref again.
Nah, he was refereeing. He was refereeing like I'm sure. Sometimes, you know, I was just having a little fun that night.
No,
it wasn't that. It wasn't really in real life. It wasn't really that.
Yeah.
Dramatic. I was just.
The
referee was walking by.
You gotta haggle
walking by.
him, you know?
I tapped him on his hand. You know, I was in front row and I was like, I tapped him. I was like, you know, his foot was underneath the rope. And he looked at me. He was like, "It was." I said, "Yeah." Oh shit! And he was keeping it kayfabe.
Yeah.
Look at me talking like I'm Frank.
He's the Frank.
He was keeping it real. He was like, "Oh man, I messed up. I hope that such and such didn't know that his foot was under the rope because I'll be in trouble." And because
I said, he's getting scolded when he goes back there.
Yeah, he was talking about the other wrestler, like the bad guy.
Oh, the wrestlers will scold the referees when they trust and believe. We've actually, and this isn't kayfabe at all. This is like a legit thing. If a ref fucks up in a match, they do not hear the end of it. Just saying. Oh yeah, they feel the full force of a wrestler's rage after they lost a match.
You must really want to be a referee to take that shit.
I feel like a lot of people that become referees just want to be in the wrestling industry in some shape or form because, like, when we were...
they take it serious.
Yeah, when we were security guards and then we moved up to film crew and back to security, we were all over the place. We were just helping out when we were training. We never got the chance to referee, which I thought was odd.
I never wanted to do it.
I never wanted to do it, but they never made us do it. But they made other trainees do it, which I thought was odd. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I did volunteer like during training.
Who wants?
I did volunteer
as a referee.
Yeah, exactly. We're drunk all the time. Who the fuck wants a drunk guy? We're gonna fucking make missed calls all the time. But anyways, during trainee matches, I did. At any chance I could, I would special guest ref a match as a drunk dude. And it was always entertaining. You know, I don't understand why they would never actually want me on an actual show, but it was entertaining nonetheless, we'll say.
Y'all guys are trip,
I'm like looking the other way. I'm like, I didn't see shit. What is he talking? Oh, 1, 2. I would stand up. I'd be like, hey, Mr. Miller, what comes after 2? And then by the time he tells me, I'd go back and like, I guess it only makes it to 2 count.
No, what you should have done, you should have got 1, 2. Hey, excuse me, can I get another beer?
Just open the beer in the ring.
That'd be good.
Well, so I see Mr. Editor over here. If you have not been looking at your partner, he has the same look that I have when I have to edit shows because I could tell that look from anywhere in the world because. I had before we went live, I was doing all the editing for every show, and when motherfuckers went over an hour, I told everybody.
I've been seeing
minutes.
it. He's just scratching his head like, oh shit, I gotta edit all this.
I used to tell motherfuckers 45 minutes. That's it. Cut it off. I got a fucking life, and then motherfuckers go 47 minutes. I'm like, you motherfuckers, fuck you. That's the look he has with us right now because we've been talking shit for the last 30 minutes, and he knows he's been quiet.
Yeah,
he's been quiet. He hasn't said shit the last 30 minutes.
He's just hoping we die down with conversation.
Sometimes I forget that I'm in the conversation too, and I just listen to the two people.
But on that note, hold tight. Don't go anywhere because we'll continue this. But Mr. Miller, what would we call this? I'm pretty sure it's considered, what's that word?
Shit?
Yeah, it's definitely shit. Cut it.